And day 2 of Rivals of Ixalan spoilers, and we got a heady brew of stuff that got spoiled today. Good and I can't say bad, but meh. For instance, let's get to our other planeswalker that got spoiled today. Now, this isn't confirmation that as Azor, the Sphinx planeswalker, the creator of the Azorius Guild, is not a planeswalker in the set. This is just our 5th planeswalker of the overall block. We could have a 6th. This happened before. But Huatli, Radiant Champion is a what? And forgive me if you hear something. Dama's chewing her bone. Is a 1 green, 1 white, 2 of any color, 3 loyalty planeswalker. Her +1 ability, and by the way, there's some great art on her where they got the Zakama dinosaur tyrant behind her. I don't know what it's actually called. I know it's called Zakama, I believe. But anyway, legendary planeswalker. +1, put a loyalty counter on Huatli Radiant Champion for each creature you control. Okay. -1, target creature gets +X until the end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay. And -8, you get an emblem when whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So, at first glance, when I saw this card, I didn't think much of it. I'm like, this is a really crappy play. This seems like a planeswalker deck planeswalker. That's what it seemed like, because those are usually not as good as the original planeswalkers, or as the actual set-based planeswalkers. That's what this seemed like. However, when I actually read a little bit of the article for it, they explained that they didn't want to make a planeswalker that necessarily stood on its own. They wanted to make a synergistic planeswalker, something that has synergy with something else on the field. In this case, creatures, obviously. And when I read that and I rethought the card a bit, thinking of the decks that just thinking from my point of view, like the decks that I could put this in, that it would actually get work and function in, and how well it would work, I'm like, no, actually, this is a pretty okay card. It's not amazing. I think I like Angrath more, and I don't like Angrath a great deal. I don't hate Angrath. I like both the planeswalkers we got so far. They're just, if I were to say what my favorite planeswalker of this block would be, it would be Vraska, hands down. I think most people would agree with that. Then the original Huatli, then probably Jace, then probably Angrath. This version of Huatli is probably my least favorite. I don't hate any of them, but it's got the better art. I'll give it that. But I mean, overall, it's not terrible, especially when like in a token-based strategy. Then I can see this card really starting to get its stride. But problem is that this card you don't put this card on the field unless you have creatures to work with it. That is just it. You just don't do that, because its -1 ability. It's fine, but if you don't have creatures, if you've got like 1 creature, that means you're going to give a creature +1/+1 until the end of turn. That is it. So you need to be in a heavy creature strategy for this thing to even function properly. Otherwise, that +1, you'll get +1, and then you'll get loyalty counters from that. Otherwise, there's no point getting into the -8, which the -8, it's fine. You'll pull a creature on the field and you'll draw. That's great. Whether or not you'll get that to actually work is another thing entirely. So, really hard to say. But you know what? It is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the greatest, though. So, yeah, moving on. Elenda, there we go. Elenda, jeez. Oh, or no, it's not Elenda. It's Elenda. Yeah, Elenda. Ugh. Elenda the Dusk, essentially the patron of all the vampires on the plane of Ixalan, the one who basically made the pack and created them. 1 black, 1 white, 2 of any color for a 1/1 legendary creature, vampire knight, mythic rare, lifelink. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Elenda the Dusk Rose. When Elenda dies, create X X 1/1 vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is Elenda's power. So this is a pretty cool card. It's got lifelink. You'll get that little bit of life gain in there. If you got things that sacrifice or things that allow things to die, which is not that hard to do, It's also just when another creature dies. So if you've got things that destroy your opponent's creatures, great. It's not hard to get pump this creature up really in a long scheme of things. But unless you can get her to some big numbers like a 4 or a 5 or beyond that, she is very susceptible to removal. So there is that. However, even if she does die, you'll at least compensate by getting some little 1/1s for her death. So it's not like you're not getting something out of her dying. She trades well. It's just she trades much better the bigger she is later in the game. So she's solid. I don't mind her. I would probably find use for her in my vampire deck. If nothing else, maybe I could build a separate vampire deck for her. But no, yeah, she's fine. Glorious Destiny is 1 white, 2 of any color for a rare enchantment with Ascend. If you have 10 permanents or more, you get the city's blessing. When it enters the battlefield, choose your creature type. Creatures of chosen type get +1/+1, and have vigilance if you have the city's blessing. So, yeah, it's essentially an anthem, and this is a pretty solid anthem because you're pretty much guaranteed to eventually get the 10 permanents, if nothing else, with your land. So it's just a time clock, really. You're going to give your creatures +1/+1, and then you'll get them vigilance, and it's a good card. It's a solid anthem card. I like it. Shrine Atlasar, which I saw. It's one I've seen the picture. It's like a giant sauropod, like a brontosaurus, a Patasaurus brontosaurus, long neck dinosaur. 1 white, 4 of any color for a 3/4 dinosaur rare. If a source would deal damage to another dinosaur you control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. Looking at that, it's a pretty, because it's the only thing you can do is deal 1 damage to it, because it's a source, and the source can be from anywhere, multiple sources. So it's a pretty solid stopper. If you get this on the field, your dinosaurs will honestly be, because that's the thing too. That it just immediately clicked to me that what this is supposed to do is really actually reinforce the enrage ability on your dinosaurs. Because if it's just pinging them for 1 and they got 2 toughness, then all they're doing is taking 1 damage. So you're at least getting your enrage at least once in a game. So it's a very solid card for that reason. Now, a 3/4 for 5 is not terrible, but for a dinosaur and for something that would be doing that, it also is another dinosaur. So this thing is not protecting itself. That's a problem. Now you get 2 on the field, which I don't know why you would run 2. Because that seems a bit much. You have better things to be running. It's good. It's fine. It's good in the dinosaur deck. But I don't know. There's better cards. Maybe if I could find room for it, I would do that. But who knows? Seafloor Oracle is 2 blue, 2 of any color for a Merfolk Wizard, 2/3 rare. Whenever a Merfolk you control deals damage or combat damage to a player, draw a card. Short, simple, to the point. If you got a little chimp blocker or a little attacker beaters, they're going to get through. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, it's good. Fine. Great card. I'll use it in my Merfolk deck. Paladin of Atonement, 1 white, 1 of any color for a Vampire Knight, rare creature, 1/1. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you lost life last turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Paladin of Atonement. When Paladin of Atonement dies, you gain life equal to its toughness. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this card. Now, there's obviously, it says, the whole shtick is if you lost life. It doesn't mean if you regain life, you're going to lose the +1 counter. So there's that. And if you're in a vampire strategy, especially with the Ixalan stuff, you're going to be dealing with lifelink and life gain and things along those lines. So there's that to compensate for that. But the point is that, don't get me wrong, it's a great way to compensate for your life loss, but the thing is, it's not useful until you start losing life. Otherwise, it's just sitting there on the field. If nothing else, it's a chump blocker, and you're just wasting 2 mana for a 1/1 that does nothing until you're losing life. That's the thing. If you are on a losing strategy or on a losing side of a fight, this card does start to make a difference. But if you're already winning, or if it's just beginning of the game, you're going to play this card and it's going to do nothing. And then they're going to maybe play like a 4/4 dinosaur or something like that. I'm thinking limited right now. And you could lose the 4 life and then this guy goes up by 1. Or you could just block and not lose the 4 life and play something else. So it's kind of, it's worth it and not worth it. But if you're if you're in the vampire strategy in this set, in this block, there is a life game element to that, or life gain element to that. So it is, it teeters. It's teetering the edge a little bit. I don't know how I really feel about that. I'd have to play with it to see. Path to Discovery. 1 green, 3 of any color for a rare enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it explores. So basically, it's an Explorer Anthem card. Every creature you're playing now gets Explore, which revealed top card of your library. Put that card into your hand if it's land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on that, and then put in card back or in the graveyard. So yeah, you're either getting free land or you're getting +1/+1 counters on your creatures. So they're all coming out pumped, or you're getting more land, which helps increase your ability to get the City's Blessing with your Ascend cards. So overall, it's actually a pretty solid card. I like that. Speaking of cards with Ascend, oh god, Tilonati's Summoner. 1 red, 1 of any color for a 1/1 human shaman, rare. Ascend, obviously, control 10 permanents, get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Whenever this, I'm just going to say this a card. Whenever this card attacks, or creature you attacks, you may pay X and 1 red. If you do, create X 1/1 elemental creature tokens tapped and attacking. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step, unless you have a City's Blessing. Now, this card took me, I saw it the first time, I'm like, and then I read it again, I'm like, oh no, this actually is pretty ballsy. This is pretty nuts. Think of it this way. When you would really want to be playing the card, admittedly, is when you have the City's Blessing. But assuming you haven't reached that point yet, let's say you're at 8 mana or something like that, or let's say it's like turn 7 and you've got a total of 8 permanents, so you're not there yet. But you got like 7 mana because it's turn 7. So you could tap this when attacking for 6. You'll swing in. You're gonna, unless they've got an equal amount of creatures to you, you're gonna hit for damage. Now but if you're able to somehow get some token multipliers out, or if you're able to beef this thing up, that's the thing. You need to be, if you want this thing to really last, you need to beef it up. Which there's plenty of cards that can. There's enchantments and all that stuff, and great, yeah. Or actually combine it with the red-green recursion aura that transforms into the land. There you go. Actually, that's a... Wow, there died. It didn't even occur to me. So that is a pretty nice combo right there. You combine it with that. It doesn't get any pluses, but you'll be able to tap. You'll be able to attack, pay this, get the stuff out, and then even if it dies, you'll activate it. She comes back, and then you'll be able to keep recurring it over and over again. It's a pretty nice combo. Now I think. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't be a pretty nice combo with because you got to pay 5 for that land. So there's shenanigans that can be had with this. I overall like it a lot. Merfolk Mistbinder is 1 green, 1 blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Shaman that gives other Merfolks +1/+1. It's a Merfolk Lord. It's gonna work. It's great. It's fine. Let's move on. All the lords are solid. Because again, we got Legion Lieutenant. It was a 1 white, 1 red, or excuse me, 1 white, 1 black for a 2/2. Other vampires gets +1/+1. It's a lord. It's great. Moving on. Time Stream Navigator is a mythic rare. Human Pirate, 1 blue, 1 of any color for a 1/1 with Ascend against City's Blessing. We all know what that does at this point. Pay 2 and pay 2 blue and 2 of any color. Tap this card. Put Time Stream Navigator on the bottom of your owner's library. Take an extra turn after this one. Activate this ability only if you have the City's Blessing. Now, first off, just taking an extra turn is fantastic. And if you have multiples of these, get ready for some real shenanigans, son. I want to have 4 of these on the field. I want to have like 10 mana, and I want to use it in my solid blue like shenanigans deck, which I have. I'm just gonna tap, take an extra turn, attack, tap, take an extra turn, tap, take an extra turn. Actually, I can see that happening. I really can. And that'd be fun as hell, really. So yeah, I like this card. I like it. I'm a blue player right now. Blue is my favorite color. Green comes in at the close second. But I'm a blue player at heart. So when I see these kind of shenanigans, I think to myself, oh, fun times are going to be had. Famished Paladin costs 1 white, 1 of any color for a 3/3 Vampire Knight. Attacking does not attack during your untap step. Whenever you gain life, untap it. Okay, yeah. Seriously, you can't even give this thing like lifelink to do that with? it's all. I mean, yeah, it's at 3/3 for 2, which means you need to kind of nerf it a little bit. And when you're in a vampire strategy, like I said earlier, you usually got life gain going on. So yeah, all right, fine. Ambush the Waters. I believe that is yeah, 3 of any color, 1 blue enchantment, uncommon. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 blue 1/1 blue merfolk creature tokens with hexproof. Merfolks you control can't block this turn. So basically, you're creating 2 1/1s, and you can make all your merfolks unblockable. Solid. It's all right for tribal. Last 5 cards of the day, unless they can spoil some other things later. Daring Buccaneer, 1 red for a human pirate, uncommon 2/2. It actually has the same thing as that Deep Water Guild. I can't remember the name of it, but a merfolk from earlier. That is an additional cost to casting it. Reveal a pirate or from your hand, or pay 2. Difference is that this thing, actually no, I can see what the difference is. The difference with the merfolk is that it actually drew you a card. This one, however, is cost 1 mana for 2, which means you're gonna, if you can play this turn 1, you'll play it turn 1. Absolutely. So it's fine for that regard. It's actually pretty good. Ravenous Chupacabra. Make that a damn creature type. It's a beast horror. No, make the Chupacabra. You make dinosaur creature type. Come on, make it a damn. Make the Chupacabra a damn creature type. Ravenous Chupacabra is 2 black, 2 of any color for a 2/2 beast horror. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Usable, great. It's a burn spell on a body, on a stick. If you can pump it, even better. But it's great all around. A great removal spell, solid creature, great card. Kumella's Awakening, 2 blue, 2 of any color with Ascend. We already know what that does. Beginning your upkeep, each player draws a card. If you have the city's blessing, instead only you draw a card. In a commander game, that's going to be pretty cool. In a normal game, if for 4 mana, just so you're drawing an extra, I mean, yes, you're drawing an extra card. That's great. But I don't know, for 4 mana, yes, it's a permanent fix. I get that, and it's good, but I think it's not quite as good as it's deceptively looking. But who knows? Maybe. Hey, we got one of the story cards. Let's see now. And wait a minute, is that Induce Amnesia? Basically, is that Jace is going to wipe Vraska's memory in this of what's going on here. However, if I'm reading this right, that is only story spotlight. Is that, man? It's hard to tell. That's a small card. Okay, there's only 3 story spotlight cards. Which means that's the last one. If I'm reading that right. Anyway, but Induce Amnesia is 1 blue, 2 of any color for an enchantment, green, or enchantment blue. What I'm talking about, rare is what I meant to say. Induced Amnesia enters the battlefield. Target player exiles all cards from his or her hand face down, then draws that many. When Induced Amnesia is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return the exiled cards to their owner's hand. That's fascinating, because you could target your opponent, but they're just going to get the cards back either way eventually. But you could target yourself, put your stuff to the side. If you got like big crap in your hand, or like stuff you can't play right now, this actually is not a bad card for putting it to the side, shelving it, and then eventually getting rid of your card and bringing the cards back so you can play. I don't know. I kind of like it a little bit, and they added the Planeswalker symbol in the back. I'm guessing to actually emphasize a story card. That's what they're doing. I don't know. I kind of like it, and also the art's fantastic. Last but not least, Jade Light Ranger is a merfolk scout, 2 green, 1 of any color, rare, 2/1. Enters the battlefield, it explores, then it explores again. So you explore twice, which means you're either getting 2 lands, you're getting a land, and you're turning her into a 3/2 for 3, or you're turning her into a 4/3 for 3. Either way, you're getting some sort of value out of this. So I kind of like it. I can dig on that. That's kind of cool. I like that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the cards today. And we got definitely some good cards. We got some not good cards. Like, what the hell? like there are some just cards that I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand you cards. I'm trying, and I am failing. And I apologize. I'm so irate. Anyway, quoting Hellsinger Breed. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be back later with some of my top 10 lists. Or my top list for the year. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching. I'll see you folks